Welcome. My name is Danielle, and I'm so glad that you chose to be here today. Are you feeling overwhelmed by the chaos of everyday life? Then join me today for day 21 of the 30-day yoga series. Let's begin a journey to rediscover your true self through the powerful practice of restorative yoga. You'll need a few props for the practice today, 2 blocks, or something similar from around your house, a scarf, belt, or yoga strap, 1 or 2 blankets or towels, a chair, bench, or edge of a couch, 2 pillows or bolsters. I have 2 different shapes, one rectangular and one round. Alternatively, you could use 2 towels rolled up. And don't forget something to cover your eyes like a washcloth. Now we'll begin to set up for our first pose. The hardest part of the practice of restorative yoga is setting the props up to be comfortable. I like to use my 2 blocks, one in the tallest position and one in the lowest lengthwise. Then I lie a bolster or pillow over the top. A blanket or folded towel is quite nice under the head. If you tuck in the edges, your head will be cradled to create some ease in the back of your neck. The second bolster will go underneath your knees, the larger one or the round one. Just be sure that your heels come down to the ground. And when you use your hands to lower yourself down, be very compassionate. Let your sitting bones stay on the ground, and your low back will be supported by the bolster. Once you feel comfortable, place the eye pillow or washcloth over the eyes. You can see my shoulders are dropping down and away from my ears, creating a mini back bend. This is one of my favorite poses to unwind from your day, release anxiety, reduce stress, and calm the mind. If you feel uncomfortable at any point, then roll onto your side into a fetal position. But for right now, take an inhale through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Start to settle into the practice by exhaling out several times, starting to invite deep relaxation and stillness into the body and the mind. Listen to the exhalation and allow the breath out to be longer in length than the inhalation. Rest your tongue on the roof of the mouth and start to soften your eyes so your whole body can begin to settle down into stillness. Start to feel the heels, the hands, the spine, the legs, and the back of the head all beginning to surrender. As your body becomes still, feel your eyes looking inwards, saying to yourself the affirmation for your practice today: in stillness and silence, I find clarity and connection to my true self. In stillness and silence, I find clarity and connection to my true self. Letting these words resonate with you as you disconnect from the outside world and allow yourself to drift into complete ease in the present moment as you invite self-care, and compassion into your body and your mind. Listening to any thoughts or feelings, even sensations that you might notice, without any judgments at all, just noticing and letting them push off to the side for the time being, like clouds floating past. At any point, if your mind starts to awaken and you find it challenging to disconnect from those thoughts, tune back into your breath, continuing to count the exhalation if needed. Otherwise, allow yourself to look in between each breath, listen carefully, and pause into this safe space within. Now, as you start to hear my voice, let your mind stay quiet and your eyes close, but start to move your fingers and your toes, your wrist and your ankles, and remind yourself to move in a way that's slightly different than your everyday movement. One breath, one movement, one breath, and another movement. And when you're ready to move further, just push yourself onto your right or your left side into a fetal shaped position, either on your props or off. And just notice how you feel. What is your inner landscape telling you at this moment? You might notice a bit more relaxation than when you first began. And start to lift your body up. You don't need to open your eyes just yet. You might even drape your head forwards and rest it in your hands and let your elbows rest in your ribs or your thighs. Take a few breaths out through your mouth, and then when you're ready, use the hands to push your head back upwards. Take a couple of moments in a seated position, again, pausing, feeling, and noticing any shifts or changes. Now we'll start to dismantle the props to set up for our second pose. So simply take the blocks and place them off to the side. Then set the bolster or the pillow right down in front where it just was. You can use the blanket or towel and fold it, lying it flat on top of the pillow. Turn your body so your knees are to the right side of the bolster and your left hip comes right up to the bolster. Begin to turn your torso to the left and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling and start to lower your body down onto the bolster or the pillow so that you feel comfortable. Ideally, your chest should be flat on the pillow. If you find that it's too intense, then you just lift your body up and turn the pillow a little bit to the right, more towards 1 or 2 o'clock position. You might place a blanket, bolster, or pillow between the knees or the thighs, which helps with any low back or hip discomfort. If you find you're not comfortable, simply lift your torso up, adjust the props accordingly, and lower your torso once again. We're only here for 3 minutes on each side. You can start off by placing your left ear down and turning your head towards the right. Be sure that your forearms and your hands are comfortably resting on the earth. Now take a breath in And start to breathe out through the mouth, letting yourself settle into the pose, beginning to let the whole body settle. Let yourself breathe out through the mouth and start to soften your eyes, soften your whole entire body. Just arriving, letting gravity take over, settling and grounding. Notice any interesting spaces in the back side of the body where you can surrender, even if it's just 1% further, letting go of physical tension, emotional knots, and mental strain. You can feel your eyes looking down towards the center of your being. Remind yourself to be patient. Stillness takes practice. For the remainder of the pose, you might try to turn your head in the opposite direction, placing your right ear down on the pillow, or you might find that does not resonate with you and simply turn your head back towards the right. Stay here in stillness for just a few more moments. If you haven't done so already, turn your head back towards the right with your left ear down on the blanket and start to connect back into your breath, feeling your hands touching the ground, the texture beneath, and with little to no effort, tell yourself it's time to push your body upwards. As you start to press into your hands and you lift your body up, you can let your eyes stay closed. Notice how it feels to shift into a new position with your eyes closed. Can you feel your breath as you bring your knees to the opposite side of the bolster, breath by breath, moment to moment? Turn the bolster a little bit past 12 o'clock towards the 11 o'clock position. Place your right hand to the right side of the bolster. Reach the left arm skyward and start to turn your body towards the right as you lower yourself down. Find the place that is just right for you. Once again, you may find this time you need a blanket or bolster between the inner thighs to support the hips or the low back, or perhaps sliding the elbows further down towards the ribs. Or you may want to lift yourself up and lengthen the spine to find some traction as you lower back down. Rest your right ear onto the pillow. Close the eyes if they're opened. Take a long sigh with complete ease out of your mouth from deep in the belly. And once again, welcome in stillness as you feel your body land on the pillows beneath you, supported by the earth. Just as you did earlier, you can scan the back body, scanning from the low back to the upper back, investigating any areas that feel interesting, perhaps holding old patterns or past experiences that are causing some tension. Use your breath to promote self-care and undoing. If you haven't done so already, you could turn your head in the opposite direction, exploring your left ear down as your head turns towards the right. Or you may find that turning your head causes tension or tightness. Simply turn it back towards the left. Let's stay here for just another minute, listening to the whispers of your heart. You might shift your head back in the original direction towards the left with your right ear down on the ground. Start to feel the flow of your breath if it drifted off into the distance. Feel the breath coming and going. Feel the body relaxed. Start to become aware of the hands on the ground. Tell yourself it's time to move once again. Find the strength to push your body upwards with ease and compassion, letting the head drape towards the heart as you turn your body, unwinding back to center. You could place the hands on the forehead again, the elbows on the thighs, purposely rounding the back. Pause. Give yourself a few breaths to notice how the mind, the body are changing. You may feel more connected. Let your eyes start to open. Prepare yourself to set up for the third pose of the practice. As you start to move all of the props out of the way, be sure to move the props with mindfulness and awareness, staying in tune with your breath. It's now time to use the chair or the couch or bench, whatever you might have at home. You can keep your strap close by as well as your blanket for some support once again beneath the head. Be sure that the chin is not higher than the forehead. Roll down onto your side and bring one leg at a time up onto the chair. Ideally, you want to make 90 degrees from your hips to your knees to your ankles. It's now time to reach for your strap. There should be a loop in your strap so you can take each leg and place it through the center hoop. Once the legs are through the hoop, you can tighten it up so it's comfortable, and therefore your legs won't need to be tensed up. You can completely relax your muscles and give yourself permission to let go. Now I had placed the cushion under my calves so you could see that they weren't quite at 90 degrees, but by moving the pillow, my shins are now at 90 degrees. You can take your arms out to the sides after placing your eye pillow over your eyes and tucking the blanket beneath the head. You can try a cactus position. Just be sure that the backs of your hands are touching the ground. Or feel free to stretch them straight out into a T position or bringing them right down by your sides. I like to get a bit of a chest opener in this pose as well. Now, start to welcome in the pose by breathing out through your mouth, noticing the length of your exhalation, and starting to let your whole body land on the ground beneath you and in the chair. Feel the legs, the back, the arms, and the head all becoming heavy. With each exhalation that you feel, start to let go. Deeply let go through the muscles, the larger muscles in the legs. Let the legs relax, the ankles, knees, hips, feeling the thigh bones drop down into the sockets, releasing any back pain, discomfort. Notice the ground beneath the arms and the upper back, and start to feel a softening across your chest and down into the belly. Let your eyes rest down towards the belly and feel the belly rising and falling. As the diaphragm lifts and descends, massaging the organs beneath the surface. As your nervous system shifts into rest and digest, promoting overall well-being for the entire body, mind, and spirit. Feel your eyes deeply resting inwards. Look towards your light. Feel the courage to move inwards. Feel the strength to be patient in stillness. Let's stay here for just a few more minutes. Now, as you hear my voice, tell yourself it's time to move again. Let the eyes stay closed and just start to curl your fingers into the thumb one at a time. Pinky, ring finger, middle, index, and back out. Or take wrist circles and ankle circles. Let yourself move in a way that feels just right to you. Undo the strap by bringing the knees into the chest, and when you're ready, roll onto your right or your left side, coming into a safe, relaxed fetal position. As you come onto your side, you might place your top hand over your eyes and rest here in darkness, once again checking out your inner landscape, noticing any changes, and ever so gently push your body back upwards, finding a seated position at your own pace, always allowing some time to pause in between. Now, my friends, it's time to come down into our final pose, Savasana. For this posture today, I would like to use the blanket under the head and a bolster on top of the thighs. Be sure to take your feet as wide as your yoga mat Let the legs completely externally rotate, and once you're ready, lift your pillow or blanket and place it right on top of the thighs, over the pubic bone, to create some grounding down. Try it if you've never done so and see how it feels for you. You can always take it off. Place the eye cover over the eyes and find that resting place for your arms. Roll a little bit from the outside shoulder to the inside shoulder and bring your arms down by the sides so they're not touching any other part of the body. Once the arms are settled, tell yourself it's time for stillness once again. Feel your eyes resting down to the center of your being. Feel your entire body getting heavy once again. With regular practice, you'll find this becomes easier with time. The mind becomes quiet, the body becomes still, and you tune into those spaces between the breath that take you a little closer to your soul. Rest here now with the feeling of deep connection to your heart, to that innermost space within that holds all the wisdom that you need. As you start to hear my voice, begin to move back into your body, feeling the breath coming and going, noticing the belly rise and fall, and allow yourself to welcome in some movements at your own pace, feeling movements in the hands and the feet. You can remove the bolster from the thighs when you're ready And then take a roll onto your right or your left side, coming into a fetal position, feeling safe, feeling strong, feeling recharged and refreshed. Take a couple of breaths, and as long as you need, then push your body upwards and return to an easy seat, preparing to close the practice. Push your head up and let your eyes stay closed, feeling ease in your jaw and your eyes, and space in your mind and your body. Reach your arms open nice and wide and wrap your arms around you, giving yourself a hug, closing with the affirmation we began with today. In stillness and silence, I find clarity and connection to my true self. Bring your hands together to your heart space. Remind yourself that you can return at any point to your inner sanctuary of stillness and peace. Namaste. If you enjoyed the practice, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and be sure to start from day 1 of the 30-day yoga series.